open as the graves of his companions. But what stopped the Sahaba from burying him in the graveyard? That they feared that maybe in the future people will come and worship his grave. And subhanallah, today you find people, they come to the masjid of the Prophet ﷺ and they try to rub the house. That's the house, not the grave. That's why you find police there, they are stopping the people. Are you following? Because this is absolutely wrong. This is not Islamic. And you find people, they face the house to make dua, not the qibla. And Imam, I mentioned this story many times, but there is no harm in mentioning it again. Group of women came to give the salam, but there is the policeman stopping the people from rubbing the wall, etc. So one lady, tall, strong lady, she came and grabbed the policeman by his shoulders, took him away, and she told the woman, kiss, 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 kiss the wall. And when they finished, she dropped him and she left. Subhanallah. This shows the ignorance of the Muslims. Understand? And you hear people, oh, those guys there, they don't love the Prophet ﷺ and they don't allow us. No, because they love the Prophet ﷺ, that's why they stop you. And because they love you as well. Because they don't want you to make shirk. So they are helping you not to commit shirk. You should respect them. And should thank them instead of accusing them. Someone stops you from shirk, he loves you or not? Subhanallah. You should love him from the core of your heart. But your problem, you don't know that this is shirk. And you don't want to know that this is shirk. That's the problem. Subhanallah. Nowadays you hardly find, except maybe a few places in the Muslim countries. Most of the Muslim countries, you find these mausoleums or shrines or tombs. Wherever you go. And you'll see they are covering it with nice clothes and like the Kaaba. And people are going around. And women, they go there. If she doesn't have a child, she didn't get pregnant, she is barren, she'll go to the wali, to the saint and ask, instead of asking Allah. Who gave the child? The wali will give you a child? Or the one who created you? Ask Allah. But this shows the ignorance of the Muslims. Imam Muslim also maybe she was praying in another room. Allah knows. There are no details about that. There were no details mentioned. So from Juntab bin Abdullah radiallahu anhu, who narrated, سمعت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قبل أن يموت بخمس وهو يقول إني أبرأ إلى الله أن يكون لي منكم خليل فإن الله قد اتخذني خليلا ولو كنت متخذا من أمتي خليلا لاتخذت أبا بكر خليلا. وإن من كان قبلكم كانوا يتخذون من قبور أنبيائهم مساجدا ألا فلا تتخذوا القبور مساجدا فإني أنهاكم عن ذلك. I heard the Prophet ﷺ say, only 5 days before his death, I am free and clear towards Allah of having any of you as my Khalil, close friend. Verily Allah has taken me as his Khalil, just as he had taken Ibrahim alayhi salam as his Khalil. If I would have taken anyone from my ummah as a Khalil, I would have taken Abu Bakr as a Khalil. Beware, those who preceded before you used to make their prophets' graves into places of worship. Beware, don't take any graves as places of worship. I forbid you to do so. Had I given the chance to take anyone as Khalil, I would have taken Abu Bakr as my Khalil. But Allah has taken me as a Khalil, which means this is close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like Ibrahim alayhi salam. Allah has taken Ibrahim as Khalil, which means it's very close to Allah azza wa jal. So the Prophet ﷺ is also Khalil, is very close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then he said, those who preceded you, Jews and Christians, the graves of their prophets as masajid, places of ibadah, places of worship. So do not take these, the places, the graves of the prophets or awliya, holy men, saints, as places of worship. You should not. Inni anhaakum an dhalik. I forbid you to do this. So the Prophet ﷺ, this is in Sahih Imam Muslim. So clearly he's saying, I forbid you. It is haram. Don't do this. Every Muslim, you bury him in the graveyard. Is this clear? Okay. So here he feared, the Sahaba, they feared that the grave might be taken as a masjid. So the Sahaba never built any place of worship around his grave. Never. That's why they buried him where? Where did they bury him? In his house, in his room. Any place which is intended for prayer or where prayer is performed has indeed been taken as a masjid. Because masjid means any place where you make sujood. Any place you make sujood is called what? Masjid. Even if there is no building, no construction. Because here the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ said, جُعِلَتْ لِيَ الْأَرْضُ مَسْجِدًا وَطَهُورًا. The whole earth has been made for me a masjid. The whole earth has been made for me a masjid, and it is pure and clean. So masjid is not only where there is building. Any place where you pray, it is a masjid. Are you following? So if someone say, but the place, there is no building around the tomb, but we are praying there, that is a masjid. Even if there is no building. So the idea that you should not sanctify and give holiness to such a grave, that's the idea. Because ultimately people will worship that grave. And Islam always blocks the way that will lead to any evil. So what leads to the haram is haram. Are you following? So since it might lead, because we know in the previous chapter, most evil ones, the most evil ones are those upon whom, or those, the hour starts or commences while they're still alive. The Qiyamah starts while they are still alive. Those are the most evil ones. Because what really happens, a nice wind will come from Yemen. You know, my dear brothers and sisters, towards the end of time, what will happen? The Kaaba will be demolished. After all the believers are gone. So what Allah will do, subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will send a nice breeze, nice